Welcome to you, sir. Can you explain to people in Britain, please, why you believe women should be paid less than men because they're weaker, smaller and less intelligent?
Morgan, you Burke, you just answered your own question. You said why, and then some incoherent, kidney-faced balderdash fell out of you, and then you said because, followed by some similarly insignificant, utter bloody microfipe. You've asked me why do you believe X because why? I wouldn't even get started on the veracity of X. The question itself is structured like a Frenchman trying to park a Sherman tank inside a breakfast pastry. You're bad at your job.
OK, can you just give me an example of where a short man earns less than a tall man?
I could give you 25 million of them, you lopsided fish wagon. North Koreans are a clear foot shorter than South Koreans, on average. It's a disparity that's formed over just half a century. And the fact that they also earn lower wages on average is not a coincidence, but it's not the causal factor either. They are short because they are starving, and they are starving because they are poor, and they are poor because of, say it with me, communism. But let's not bark up that particular tree for now. The point is, if a person has made it as far as a high-paying job, like a doctor or a lawyer or a CEO, there's a good chance, not a certainty, but a very good chance, that they were not starved as a child. There's also a better chance that they are above average height. So it shouldn't be surprising to see a disproportionate amount of tall people in high positions. It's nothing to do with discrimination against short people, it's just an elementary correlation between financial success and having a diet rich in carbohydrates and calcium. Height is not a key factor in financial success, but it is a sign of health, and health is a key factor in financial success. If you take lots of omega-3 before you go to work, and bloody echinacea or whatever, is your employer discriminating against the other people whose brains aren't as woke as yours? No, and they're not discriminating against short people. But you're nevertheless going to see a disproportionate success from the tall-bodied and the woke-brained. And in case this isn't clear, I'm not saying people should starve. I'm simply saying it's not discriminatory and it's no surprise that people earning the highest wages just happen to be tall, fat and old, rather than emaciated midgets who died in the womb. Even if they do crawl out and become journalists. Hey-oh.
Do you personally believe that women are less intelligent than men?
Yeah, I'm not playing your convoluted game of cat and mouse and dead cat, Morgan. Let me ask you this. Why do you think women earn less because of discrimination? It's a shit question, isn't it, Morgan? It's a leading question that's too drunk to lead. It's what my old grandmama used to call a heaving clunk fuck of a question.
Do you understand that when you say that on International Women's Day, what you're really doing is showing the world that you are just a horrendous sexist pig?
What does that have to do with my old grandmama? Are you saying she fucked a pig? I'm calling jihad. It's my religious freedom. If Sarsour can do it, why can't I?
Because you're too stupid. Let me try again, right? How can you say that women are less intelligent than men when you yourself sound so unbelievably stupid?
Is this a trick question? It's because I identify as a woman. Is that it?
I find it absolutely fascinating. Can I just establish your credentials? You're a member of the European Parliament, is that right?
Yes. Well, my name is Jean-Claude Juncker. I had all 3 biscuits from the minibar, and that half-finished bottle of Merlot that got accidentally emptied onto the bedsheets. That was me too. That's J-E-A-N.
I'm sort of astonished by what you're saying.
Oh, really? I'll nail it down for you, shall I? I'll tell you what I believe. I believe women are wiser than men. I believe women possess the property of wisdom, that is, the property of accumulated and applied knowledge, more than men. I have no scientific evidence for this claim whatsoever, I'm just going to assert it.
I mean, it's fantastic that you think that women are wiser than men, but to argue that there is a scientific basis for women being less intelligent as men sounds like utter nonsense, frankly.
So you have no problem with me saying women are smarter than men because reasons, but you're befuddled and offended by the notion that men are smarter than women because of this long-established and well-understood bell curve. There it is. There's the blighter. You see that? Could you fit this apparition in your aperture? Or are you like a bloody Indian native who can't see sailboats because you don't know what they are? Whoa, and such. Well, what this bell curve tells us, or rather this pair of bell curves, is that men are stupider than women and also smarter than them. And it also tells us that women are smarter than men and also stupider than them. If I've said that in the appropriate order, I think I should have untied the knot there. How can men and women be simultaneously smarter and stupider than each other? Like some kind of n-dimensional Baromean rings. Well, it's because women cluster closer to the average, while men, and this is the part you're going to find very difficult to compute, men are more diverse than women. I'll say that again. Men are more diverse than women. Mentally, psychologically, and yes, physically. Now, you can discover this bell curve yourself, test however many people you can, and not just with IQ. You'll get similar bell curves for all sorts of things. When you understand what it means, that women's curve is higher in the middle and men's curve is higher at the lows and highs, it becomes no mystery at all why men occupy the warehouses as well as the boardrooms, the lowest blue-collar jobs and the highest white-collar jobs, while women tend to cluster around middle management. This isn't indicative of a problem, it is precisely what the data predicts will happen in the absence of discrimination. What don't you understand?
What I don't understand, while I would agree that in cases that women are physically weaker than men, I don't understand the fact that women are shorter than men.
Thank you very much for the tidied up question. So let me get this clear. You're accepting weakness as a valid and relevant factor when it comes to provision, but you don't accept shortness. That's what you don't understand. You can't see the connection between being large and being strong. Allow me to enlighten you. Large things are usually stronger than small things. There are exceptions on many scales, but fuzzily speaking, the trend is larger is stronger, and that's why we transport heavy goods using cars and horses rather than skateboards and guinea pigs. This is information you were supposed to have learned in your infancy from crudely painted pop-up storybooks about friendly elephants. You, young lady, and this is not an indictment on women in general, but you are not qualified to so much as pass a kindergarten registration module. You cannot even sit on a carpet and drink milk and listen at the same bloody time. You have failed to display the kind of basic rudimentary motor functions that would not confuse a tranquilized tardigrade. F-. Go sit on the carpet. Oh, damn, you can't even do that.
Because whatever your argument, that is just complete
Garbage.
How tall are you?
5'4".
Right, there we go.
What a lovely story. Tell me, which morning television program is presented by the tiny conjoined twin you have lodged between your intestine and your liver? Or does it not have a job as high-paying as yours? Is that because it's short and weak and has been shriveled up dead between your bowels for 26 years? Not all small things are undernourished, but most undernourished things are small. Thus, the correlation. Is anything getting through yet?
Cunt.
Twat.
Unbelievably dim.
Unpropitiously reproachable.
Short, not deserving of gender...
Venomous primordial amphibian should be in prison right now.
No.
Just stop talking.
You stop talking.
No, you stop talking.
Let me ask you this.
No, you stop. Wait, what?
Do you think your special brand of celebration of women is struggling a bit, given your extraordinary private life, where 8 children by 4 different women?
Not only is that irrelevant, it's not even an insult. Jesus Christ, Morgan, I'm just a puppet. But you genuinely haven't emotionally developed since the playground, have you? You're still snotty little piss Morgan, who can't outwit his way through a fart cloud because he thinks you've had lots of girlfriends is an insult. What's next? You get good grades? Your family is hardworking? Yeah, well, you have handsome cheekbones. All you can muster is an irrelevant ad hominem, and all it did was reveal how tragically out of touch you are. And the worst part is, I think you just read that off your notes. The producer of this television program gave you that little facticle ahead of time, am I right? Saying, hey, if you're in hot water, Piers, just tell him his dick is huge. That'll really ruffle his feathers. You are all children. Vicious, nasty, incompetent children who are getting paid to be vicious, nasty, incompetent children. I look forward to the death of television. It is and always has been a great kerosene lamp for the world's most narcissistic moths. I hope you all fry.
When you say to the world, women are less intelligent, I take that to mean that you believe women are more stupid.
And yet, when I say women are more wise than men, you have no problem with that.
Stupidity, I don't know if you're aware of this, is linked to intelligence. Do you see it? Do you see how it works?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Morgan. That was enlightening. Now listen to me. In exactly the same way that stupidity is linked to intelligence, wisdom is linked to foolishness. And yet when I say women are more wise than men, you do not take it to mean men are more foolish than women. Or perhaps you do, but you're simply not offended by the notion that men are more foolish than women. It's an acceptable thing to think. And you don't take insults on your own behalf, do you? You only take them on behalf of the ladies, having deflected everything in their direction. Because you use women as emotional mules to help you carry away and bury in the desert any possibility of you developing insecurities of your own. Mr. Morgan, is that about right?
Because obviously I'm being very stupid here, because...
And foolish, Mr. Morgan. The ladies are too stupid to understand what's going on here, but at least they have the collective wisdom to land on the beneficial side of the doublethink. You have no idea what's going on, and you're doing nothing but cucking yourself.
It's one of the most interesting interviews I think I've ever witnessed, actually. And I do feel like I sat on the sidelines while two men discussed the intelligence of women.
Well, imagine the state of my fucking shock absorbers. You feel marginalised. Well, you've acted like a couple of toddlers who've been made king and queen of the playground. You're not sidelined, you unspeakable bint. You are front and centre and free to say whatever you like, and free to agree without contest that men are more foolish than women. We didn't even have that conversation. The case was shot before it was open. You are a piece of work, milady. A piece of work. You're one of the fatty bits in the flank.
I'm not sure we ever got to the bottom of why a shorter man should earn less than a taller man, even if we're going to get into the issue of gender equality and the pay gap.
Are you a fucking mentaloid? I tried to tell you it is not a result of discrimination that short people and women earn less on average than tall people and men. And all you could say in response was, derp, I'm 5'4". And all you did there was prove my point. That despite the averages, there is nothing stopping short people and women from occupying high-paying positions. At least that's as close as you came to proving anyone's point. All you did was reflexively talk about yourself, like the clinically narcissistic rabbit in the headlights you are. That's what you do when you've no idea what's going on, isn't it? Someone's discussing biology and you go, I'm 5'4". We're discussing the economy and you go, I have a purse, it's red. We're discussing the Syrian crisis and you go, I have 10 toes. No, you're right, we didn't get to the bottom of this, and we never will. This is like arguing with fucking Muppet babies.
Yeah, go on.
No, I'm done. I think that's the most ironic moment I'll ever experience.
How tall are you?
What?
How tall are you?
I'm as tall as a Texan shitstack, Morgan. What in the devil's egg cup is your point?
Right. About 6 foot, okay. It's quite extraordinary to have a guy...
My God, now you're doing it too, aren't you? You're proving my point. All you're consciously doing is once again rifling through a series of numbers in my personal information in an attempt to find something to insult. But all you're doing is, well, you're about to say something that reveals your stupidity, aren't you?
It's quite extraordinary to have a 6 foot guy.
Yes, it is, Piers. It is extraordinary, especially historically, for a man to be that tall. Being tall correlates with being well-fed. Being well-fed correlates with being high-earning. Food goes in, work comes out. Please don't make me explain the thermodynamics of the organic combustion engine, Mr. Morgan. This is what the Renaissance was for.
Do you have a final message for the women of the world on International Women's Day? You can talk to them directly. What would you like to say?
Yes. Firstly, I think you should stop watching breakfast television. Secondly, I think you should stop watching daytime television. And thirdly, stop watching primetime television. These people want to suck your brains out through your facial pores.
I've got to say, you are the greatest advert for Britain leaving the European Union I think I've ever encountered. So, as somebody who voted Remain, you could have single-handedly persuaded me to vote Brexit. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
That's Juncker with a J. J-U-N-C-K.
He told you, he said he was, but I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
have you ever heard a politician be so brazenly sexist?
I found it absolutely extraordinary, compelling, jaw-dropping. I felt like...
Oh, look at that. 2 women and 1 man. And yet you still felt sidelined. Go on, tell us what else you feel. Do you always feel the thing that happens to be the slap-bang opposite reality? That's quite useful, actually. You're like a weather vane that always points away from the truth. I could use your essence to construct a fully functioning bullshit radar.
We didn't actually need to say anything at all. It spoke for himself. If you are shorter, you will be paid less.
You stupid, 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 stupid cunt. He speaks for himself. I don't need to say anything. Now everyone let's repeat the lie we can't stop telling about him. I have told you time and time again, these are averages. You say the gender pay gap is the result of discrimination. My response is no, it isn't. That's like saying the height pay gap is a result of discrimination. And your counter-response is, well, I'm short and I don't get paid less. And somewhere in this exchange, you think you've proved your point. Do you really... Is this what it's like being a stroke victim? You don't know which part of your brain is missing because you can't access it. You can only work around it. Well, you people have simply never developed the part of the brain normal people have that makes us comprehend what a mathematical average is. You're not just science deniers, you are mathematics deniers. Nothing is more sacred to you than the doctrine of man bad, woman weak, and you will jettison everything else until you die from your own brain scurvy. No matter how many times I try to explain to you this is an average, these are numbers based on a large amount of people, the only reaction you will ever have is I am personally offended by these numbers. Personal offense is the only thing you know how to take. It's the only thing you know how to give, because you are children, flinging vacuous insults at each other from across a playground. You've never ventured outside that dynamic. So it's inevitable that you would end up working in high-paying positions for the mainstream media. Does that mean the mainstream media discriminates against honest, emotionally mature people? I will leave you with that little conundrum, shall I?
And because they're
He
shorter.
did actually say a 15-year-old boy already more intelligent than his mother. That was his
Unbelievable.
direct
I have to
quote.
say, in my family, that's probably true. Still to come.
That might be the most...
I think I might go back to the head desk. This is much less painful than I remember it. Although I must say, I'm starting to wish I'd used my left hand. Because I can't feel this one anymore.